Davis.
Mayor, I have a question. On our agenda, the citizen comment was supposed to be after the presentation. I understand that we're going to go ahead and do it first, but I'm assuming that some of the people who are here this evening won't have comments or questions after that presentation. Will there be opportunity after the presentation for any comments?
It's not a public hearing, it's a presentation. That's why I was waiting until 5:45, because I have to wait until after 5:45 for people to be able to sign up. And so if it were a public hearing, then there would be opportunity to be able to speak.
There's questions and answers.
Yeah, you can do it during questions and answers.
And is this the final list of speakers, the three?
It is. It ends at 5:45.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned a while ago that I have to wait 6 more minutes for this. Typically we wouldn't do this until 6 o'clock, but
Right.
the 5:45 period has already passed. There's 3 folks that have signed up. So we'll go ahead and start with Grace Davis. If you'll state your name for the record.
Hi, Mayor. Hi, council members. My name is Grace Davis. I'm the daughter of Mary Davis, the owner of 616 Conway Drive. And 7 months ago when I came before you, we were 2 weeks out from the most devastating flood that her home had ever seen in the 44 years that we've lived there. I'm back 7.5 months later after that flood to tell you that I don't see that things are all that much better, and I'm concerned. At 83 now, my mother just got out of the hospital. Her devastation started in May. Actually, it started when that neighborhood said, we don't want the woods. It started when a neighborhood said, we vote here, we live here, we like it here, and the woods came in. And because the biggest reason, I believe, is when you put an 18-foot wall at the end of a street in what is a known floodplain, you create a dam. And 1.5 feet water came into my mom's home and changed her life forever. It has changed mine. It has changed my sisters. It's changed all of my neighbors who love that neighborhood, who have worked hard in this community, and who have been devastated by the fact that it feels like to us, as it has every day since then, that what was more important than them was the college students. So as we start a new year and try to forget what happened in the past and make it better as we move forward, I'm going to ask you, when you watch this 2D model today, that like any third grader in a science project would do, drop a block at the end of where that water is running and ask yourself where it would have gone. Those buildings are there. Even with their proven going to work better than anything drainage system underneath that place, in the second flood in October, about 6 weeks after my then 82-year-old mother moved into her home, we had to take her out again. And today she can't live there. She can't live there because my sister and I can't afford to worry about her every time it rains and to cry every time we think about it. And I want you to know that these neighbors care. They hear what you say, they watch what you do. And the families who have been displaced and living in dumpsters in this town because there's nowhere for them to go need you to not wait for FEMA, need you to not wait for federal dollars. They need you to let the BR3T group stop doing what they're doing and let the city of San Marcos handle this and take care of its citizens. The longer we wait, the more people are hurt and the more time that we have to try to figure out how to put our lives back together. You have a big task. It starts today. And all of those neighbors on Conway and Barber Drive believe that you can make it better. And while I'm going to say we'll be watching, we'll be counting on you to do what you know what is best. And not always what you hear from everyone else, but what does logic tell you and what does your heart tell you. Thank you and Happy New Year.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Lisa Marie Campoletta. If you'll please approach the podium and state your name for the record.
Which is a tough act to follow. I'm Lisa Marie Campoletta, 1322 Belvin. And actually, I really appreciate the sentiments from the last speaker because that was my frustration with the Neighborhood Commission. And I guess I kind of owe an apology to some of you guys, those of you who voted for me to be on the Neighborhood Commission, those of you who sat with me on the commission. But I've kind of had it. I mean, it's pretty much, with all due respect, it's the Ken Bell show. I mean, I show up to these meetings, I attend these meetings, I go to P&Z, I know what's going on, I don't need a report out. And let's face it, every agenda should have something called new business. And I show up to these meetings, y'all, and I give my commissioners reports, and none of that stuff ever ends up as new business. In fact, we were told as commissioners we could only stick to our precincts. So this issue of Blanco Gardens, it kind of resonates. I mean, by the way, congratulations, Douglas Beckett. I'm really glad that you got on the P&Z because you're an awesome guy. But, I wanted to help them with the drag racing issue and all the party issues over there at Blanco's. They're busy with the flooding. And I was told point blank, no, I need to stick to Sector 1. Well, yeah, I've got a lot of issues over in Sector 1 in Belvin, but let's face it, these people are dealing with day-to-day issues, and I'm not understanding why there's not team building for commissioners that want to help other sectors. The other suggestion I have is maybe use some of our skill sets. I offered to make a PSA on how to prepare for a flood or what to do for a flood or to outreach with the students so they don't do stupid things like wet skiing and flood water. Did y'all see that video? That was crazy. What's up with the act? We have this acting, but those kids are still acting up and doing silly things. So if we've got skill sets, why don't y'all use them? The people who are on that commission, they're dedicated to the community. They know what's going on. And so why aren't they taking that input? I guess the last thing I want to say is that I really wish y'all would tag the flooded apartments. My friends are getting kicked out, and then someone else will move in, and they don't know that place has been flooded. I'm 1% of the population with my mold allergy, and so I can tell in 30 seconds if something has Stachybotrys, but most people can't. Thank y'all for your time. God bless San Marcos.
Thank you very much. Our last speaker is Mr. Charles Sechting. You'll please approach the podium and state your name for the record.
My name is Charles Sechting. Nice to be here tonight. And actually, Grace said everything that needed to be said, and Lisa Marie said everything that needed to be said. But I want to say something first of all. It's nice to see this city council. It is real nice to see this city council because I believe this council is the first one in a long time that's listened to the people of San Marcos. No offense, Mr. Mayor, and Jude, you voted right on the Woods issue. Thank you. But the simple fact is that your votes caused untold distress to hundreds of people. Your votes that, when I was a young highway patrolman, they told us, they said, if you think something you're doing is wrong, then it is wrong. You don't have to have highly educated engineers being paid lots and lots of money to know that the people that live there know best what's going to happen to their neighborhood. But instead, we let staff and whoever made these decisions, and ultimately, like it or not, Mr. Mayor, you made that decision. You voted with the bunch. You shepherded this deal. Y'all wanted this deal, and a lot of people got hurt. And I don't think you can fully appreciate and understand hurt until you see people dispossessed of their homes, their lives ruined, their lives turned around. You know, an 83-year-old woman dragged in and out of her house to try to get out of rising floodwaters. It's not right. We need to face the fact we live where we live. God created this like he did. He didn't create Walmarts and all the big shopping stores, the woods and everything to block the water. The water is where the water is. And I think it's time for us to take our head out of a part of our anatomy it does not belong. And I think this council's going to, and stop just unilaterally approving anything that comes along just because it's the easy thing to do, because somebody's going to take you to dinner and tell you how sweet they think you are and how good you look. It really is this. You've got to take care of the citizens of San Marcos because the people in Georgia do not give a rat's you know what about what they did here. They're concerned about their insurance going up. They're not concerned about us as people. I ask you to go into the new year. You're a great new council, and think about it. If you have to think about whether it's wrong, it is wrong. And help these people that have been hurt so badly in whatever way you can. Get with the federal government, make them do more than they're willing to do, and do more than we are doing. That's all I have. But thank y'all. Great to see this city council. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That'll end our citizens' comment period for this evening. We'll go ahead and move then to item number.
I'm shocked. I was just so in my own little painting world. I didn't know any of this was going on. I literally woke up to pay my bills about 2 o'clock, and I'm like, I can't get, my bank is closed. What's up with that? And then I'm like, I can't get across town. And then now I'm like, whoa, there was a flood. The last flood, I fell asleep during Memorial. I fell asleep and I woke up right when it started. I was up all night, and I didn't realize Blanco Gardens. Don't put your feet in there, darling. That's bad water. Okay, yeah. Wow. Look at that. And that's Purgatory Hell, Mr. Carson, where you've been doing your illegal fill right over there. Who's been talking about that for 2 years? Me. Help me understand if the Woods is expecting the city to come out and fix this. This is like more, that was not there yesterday. Does the Woods expect the city to clean this up, or is it their responsibility? All I know is if rain's coming, this is now a tort, and we're not talking about a strawberry tort or a chocolate tort. We're talking about a tort that could impact other people and hurt them because of liability of your drainage. The Romans were better engineers than these modern day cats. Look at this, guys. It's still all sitting out here. Oh, there's another one I didn't cover yesterday in my report. Now I'm just going to go ahead and hit every single last one of them. I want the public to know, and I want the policymakers, and I want the city staff to see the crap that they're leaving out. This has bacteria, breeds mosquitoes. It's disgusting. All this stuff is all now exposed. Let's go down the other end and see what's going on. Reason why we don't put fill up, because if I built up my front lawn 20 feet up, I would flood my next door neighbor. Here's a visual for you people. Look, you can see the height difference. Look at this. How does this neighbor feel over here with him building up his land? Look, people. Can you see it? This is all free textile fill that should have been hauled off. But somehow he got it for free.
Are there any questions and answers from the press or public? You'll please approach the podium and state your name for the record. And this is an opportunity for the press and public to ask questions related to items on this agenda.
Hi, yeah, Rosemary Capoletta. This has been fascinating. This is awesome, all the stuff you guys are going to be doing. But my question is, when I was going through my turn it down grinder, the last speech I gave, I forgot to say the whole enchilada of it. I was on the neighborhood commission with the fire marshal who's in charge of enforcing an ordinance of not putting too much fill, right? You know, I've been complaining about that on Hunter. Carson's got fill that's breaking a 2008 permit, and I've been squawking about it for 2 years and no one's done anything. So I think it's awesome we're doing all these changes and we're having this robust discussion, but if we have rules right now and we're not following them, and all that land around there flooded, y'all. So this is a real, it's a concern. It's a realistic concern. And then on top of that, you've got road construction stuff going on over there, and you've got projectiles that aren't getting picked up. So my question is anybody ever going to fix that? That's the question from the public.
The items on the Carson property?
Well, no, you're talking about the specific agenda item you guys have right now is changing our LDC, right? And I'm saying currently the LDC does have a mechanism to prevent that sort of behavior, but you're not enforcing it. So is it going to get enforced? That's my question.
Mr. Miller, can you touch base on some of those?
Yes, sir. We're going to enforce the Land Development Code. Can you follow up with Ms. Capoletta? Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. Are there any other questions from the press or public? You'll state your name for the record.
Clifford Robertson, and I just have a couple of comments and questions.
This portion is reserved primarily for questions, so if you have a question, we'd be happy.
I have a question.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Based on the results and the information that was brought today about the 2D, and we understand that the Woods, there was definitely this time we came up with this, said that there's an amount of water that went into our neighborhood. The second flood, it took us over the threshold. So we have to find a way to lift our home. And it goes back into this last portion. So we do find a way and funds to have to raise our house without destroying it first. What is that going to do to the property on either side of us? Mm-hmm. Just, these are the things that we have to, we're without a home. Had to move back in, 2 weeks short, but moving forward. So these are some answers that I'm looking for.
And I think that was actually one of the specific questions that Councilman Houston brought up this evening. Several of us brought up previous meeting as well, and just in regards to adjacent properties as we're making these adjustments to our base flood elevations and making sure that we're lifting home. Mr. Tomites?
But if I'm not mistaken, when you raise a home to FEMA standards, you have to, because my home's raised to FEMA standards, you have to provide flow underneath. You have to have certain openings on various sides of your, and I know that's not the answer you're looking for, but
Have you?
it is a factor when you raise a home to FEMA standards. You have to have actual screens that allow water to flow under that house.
Yeah, I saw that on I've been doing a lot of reading, and this,
And they have to
just some of the thoughts. I'm probably the first one to come. I was probably the first one to hit his
That's a great
office to
question.
get my permit to find out that, hey, guess what? You're out of compliance. Long way to go. Y'all talked about the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I heard a lot of claps out there. Just think about how you're going to help us move forward.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions at this time? Seeing none, that we have completed our business for this evening, and we are adjourned then at 9:33 p.m.